These are the 6 craziest space conspiracies in the history of the Joe Rogan podcast. Beginning with the moon landing conspiracy, which he discussed in his MMA show with MMA artist Ben Askren.
Press conference from 1969 when they returned from the moon is one of the most cryptic, weird things you'll ever see. These guys look like they just stole something and they're being questioned. I've never seen a video where people look like they're more full of shit than that video of the press conference from 1969. It's weird, man. It's weird. They're like fidgety and looking nervous, like they're getting away with something.
So they didn't do it then?
They might have done it. They might have been forced to say some things that they didn't want to say, and that could be part of it.
Absolutely.
You know, they could have done it. But there's a lot of weirdness with the moon landing.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you wanted to have like a conspiracy to wrap your head around that's exciting, it's one of the best ones.
Really, but who benefits from it?
The United States government did, because it showed military superiority over the Russians, so we were able to do that.
Sure.
It also, it was the Nixon administration. People were just flat out full of shit.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they were just lying to people left and right back then.
That's government, though.
Yeah, but even more so then, because it was unchecked. There was no media.
Social media.
Yeah, there was nothing that would expose them for this. And this stuff, they would air it on TV once in 1969. You never see it again unless you watched it on film. There was no YouTube where you could go back and watch the astronauts on trampolines video. That's my favorite one. You watch that and you go, what in the fuck is happening there? These guys are bouncing up in the air. Like, how are they doing that? Like, they never did. If you watch Apollo 11 when they were moving around on the surface of the moon, it's just like they're moving in slow motion. And then you go to whatever it was, like Apollo 14 or 15 when they were doing the trampoline thing. They're just fucking flying through the air. Have you seen it?
I've not. I know. I've never gotten to the moon thing. The flat Earth thing is ridiculous.
Watch this. And like their feet are hidden. Look at this. Watch these guys bounce up in the air. It's like they're on some sort of wire, like they're being yanked up into the air.
Oh yeah.
Like, what the fuck are they doing? And they're playing, like falling down, and it's very weird. But it could have been that they were really on the moon, and these guys were fucking cowboys and yahoos, and they wanted to bounce around.
What a crazy story this is. But if you think things can't get crazier, it actually gets. In episode 1314, Joe shares his infinite universe theory.
And then there's hundreds of billions of galaxies. So the idea that we're the only one. Not only that, Neil deGrasse Tyson explained this to me. This is a mind fucking to have. That the universe is so big that not only is there another you out there that has done everything exactly as you've done. To every pause, like that pause, every pause, down to the second.
Yeah.
An infinite number of times.
You're talking about, is it called the infinite universes? There's this exact conversation happening with people look exactly like that, because infinity implies that there could be a million.
Infinite variations. There's one where you get up right now and you have to take a piss. And you run out of the room.
Or Charlemagne's there, you're here, I'm there.
There's one where you get up and you're mad that we don't believe you that you saw Bigfoot or something. You know, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
The idea that when you think of infinity, we think about it as being really big. It's not. It's impossible to put in your head.
Yeah.
The infinite universes, like the size of the universe, 14 billion light years apart, infinite numbers of those. Not only that, they think that inside every galaxy is a supermassive black hole, and inside that black hole may be another universe with hundreds of billions of galaxies, with hundreds of billions of black holes, inside each one of those hundreds of billions of galaxies.
Imagine yourself watching this video in another universe. Sounds insane, right? If this shocked you, I am sure the next conspiracy about time travel will even shock you more.
That was the theory that Terence McKenna had to the thing that's going to change the universe, is that one day someone's going to invent a time machine, and that when they invent a time machine, all time ceases to become linear. So you think if you have a time machine, well, I'll just go back to the time where they were making the pyramids and I'll watch them do it. That's not what it works like. What he was saying, you can't travel where there are no roads. So once a road gets built, then you can travel. So once a time machine gets invented, then anyone from the invention of the time machine forward to forever can come back to that moment and can go to any point in time from that moment to the end of time. So all time ceases to be linear. So there's no tomorrow will be Wednesday and the next day will be Thursday. No. It's everything happens everywhere all at once. So people can travel back and forth through time. You can never own anything because someone could just travel through time and take it away from you when you weren't looking. Like as time travel gets more and more sophisticated, you can go back and forth in time while you're talking to people. You know, if you don't like what you said, you could rewind and start all over again. If you're in an argument with your wife, you can go to the library and get information and come back and go, actually, you know, Herodotus once said, and then bam, your wife thinks you're the smartest guy in the world. Like this, but there would be no normal life anymore. It would the world itself would be completely unrecognizable because time would mean nothing. You'd be able to travel back and forth through time.
On Joe Rogan Experience episode 1339, Joe and Everlast go deep into the parallel universe theory.
What if every time you went to sleep and you woke up, you passed into a nearby and very similar universe, but not quite the same? And depending upon your choices and how you live your life, it's how you wake up and what new one you pop into on the other side. Everyone's just a little bit different. The whole world changes just a little bit each time you make a decision, one way or another. Everything changes when you wake up. You think the world is static, because it is when you're awake. You have no fucking idea what's happening while you're asleep. And when you wake up again, you have this foggy recollection of the past. And that's what you're going by. You're going by every morning waking up with a foggy recollection of the past. That's what you're doing. And you're assuming that nothing's changed and everything's static. And while you were asleep for 8 hours, nothing weird happened. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You have no idea. You're dreaming. You're having crazy fantasies and shit. Weird stuff is happening. You're fucking mermaids. You're flying through the air on a helicopter. You know, weird things happen when you're dreaming. What is all that about? Yeah. We don't even know. We have no idea what that is. That soup of possibilities that's fucking swirling around in between your ears while you're snoring up a storm, and then boom, you wake up. Are you sure those memories are real? Are you sure that this isn't a whole completely new universe that you're living in today?
Or assimilation.
There was someone.
I said simulation.
I think that's a baby
I will call
formula.
myself out on that one right there.
There was some.
The deeper we go down the rabbit hole of conspiracies, the crazier they get. On a Joe Rogan Experience podcast in February 2019, Joey Bravo shares his conspiracy about space and a one-world government.
The only way to make a one-world government work is to have the people embrace it. They have to want it, because nobody wants it. So the trick is to make people want it, to embrace it. There's only one way.
I gotta pee.
There's only one way.
Joe, this is very
You're
important.
gonna miss
I've
out
heard
on
this. I know this.
Okay. I don't know.
The only way, and they've known this forever. The Vatican knew this. The Vatican, the Pope wanted to rule the world. They all knew it, but they couldn't do it. They all knew it, but they knew one way, but there's no way how they're gonna pull it off.
What's the one way, man?
The only way is if there was some extraterrestrial threat from up above us. That would be the only way to have everyone embrace the one world government. They all knew that for years.
But it didn't work
That's
so far.
the plan. They could never
It's a
make
shitty
it
plan,
work.
though.
They didn't have the technology 500 years ago. The Vatican knew about it. They wanted it. And you go to the Vatican, you see paintings of like
Have you been there?
UFOs with aliens in them. And back when I used to believe in UFOs, but before I figured out that UFOs they want us to believe in UFOs. They're preparing us for a fake alien invasion. That's always been the plan. A one world government. The only way to do it is to get us to embrace it. And the only way to embrace it is from an alien attack. Ronald Reagan talked about it many times at the UN, CFR. He talked about it because wouldn't it make, he looked at all the leaders of the nation, of the world, and said, wouldn't it make our lives easier if we just had some kind of extraterrestrial threat? He said that shit. He said that in front of the UN. Like he's trying to get everybody.
Eddie seems to be well informed when it comes to the craziest conspiracies. In the same episode, he also claimed that everything we know about space is probably fake.
The Earth is flat. They totally don't believe what we're taught about what's above us. So when
the
people
sun?
say space is fake,
What about the sun?
They mean all the information we're getting, you're lying about that shit. that it's not that it doesn't exist. Of course it exists. We see
right,
it.
Of course.
But space is fake sounds ridiculous. Like there's
something
we're
up
looking
there.
at it and it's fake. That's ridiculous. That's
is
not what
the
it means. It
Truman
means
Show.
that all the information we got about all
We're
those
off.
lights in the sky.
Yeah. Something
They're
else.
lying. They're lying
NASA's
to
lying?
us.